1. You have suffered minor head trauma. This is considered an optimal outcome.
And it's not out of the question that you might have a very minor case of serious brain damage. But don't be alarmed, all right? Although if you do feel alarm, try to hold on to that feeling, because that is the proper reaction to being told that you've got brain damage.
Subnautica is an exploration and survival game, where you crash into an alien world. While on the surface it appears to be just another survival game with a twist, if you dive deeper you'll find a story and exploration much better than most of its cousins. The sound effects of the game are quite good, with most of the focus seemingly being on the movement, as the sound of the water rushing past you in vehicles is very immersive. The sounds of the fauna also stick out in my mind, with each terrifying encounter with leviathans having a different "I'm coming to eat you" grunt to them. The walking sound effects don't seem to change based on what terrain you're walking on, with all of it sounding like you're walking on metal. But there are some details, as it sounds like various metal gear you're wearing clanks into one another as you walk. The music of the game is also pretty memorable, with my only complaint being that I was left wanting more outside of story events. I suppose I just wish there was more idle exploration music, so I didn't find myself reaching for my own tracks while exploring. One of the first visual things you may have noticed is that Subnautica is very much underwater, and a good portion of the game stays that way. There is some walking on land, but really you just walk on the seabed and in your bases much more often. I find this game to be a very rare gem in this genre, as I usually don't play games that have the potential to be scary, mostly because I scare easier than a baby. While being underwater in an alien world is unsettling to begin with, Subnautica doesn't scare you for no reason. No jump scares where a picture of a scary thing jumps out and plays a loud noise. All the fear that is instilled comes from the unknown and hearing a loud groan of some sea creature that may or may not want to eat you. Outside of figuring out what wants to eat you, you have to figure out what can be eaten. Luckily, there aren't any poisoned fish, at least none that the game lets you pick up. Like most other survival games, you have to eat to fill a hunger bar, drink to fill a thirst bar, heal to keep up a health bar, and breathe to keep up an oxygen bar. There's also some base building and the resource management that comes along with it. The building is nice enough, it has set pieces that you just stick together, and while most games that have systems like this I find very limiting, Subnautica gives the player plenty of options on set pieces, and even has recently added some from Below Zero, the game's sequel. I may not have the ability to be as creative as I can be in Minecraft, but with the options of decorations I can recover combined with the large option of things I can actually build, I don't find myself really wanting too much more. While survival and building are limited, I feel they complement the main focus of exploration very well. The exploration that can be had in Subnautica is unlike any other game. The biomes of Subnautica manage to be distinct while also fitted together perfectly, and the lines between the biomes seem to blend while also never leaving me questioning which biome I'm in. Subnautica also gives you beacons to follow. These beacons are a very well-founded attempt to lead you to where you need to go without dragging you through the motions. While some may not like that they are very much glowing not quite arrows, I find them to be a bit necessary in this underwater world. They also don't give you a safe or even straight route to them, and they only lead you to structures that would be worthwhile exploring, meaning that you are responsible for finding everything that can be found at them. Exploration is a key part in everything in Subnautica. To get new tools, vehicles, and buildings you have to scan fragments of them scattered throughout the world. But the exploration isn't easy. You have to plan ahead and keep your survival bars filled with food, water, and improve your oxygen tanks. Eventually, you need vehicles to go deeper and deeper into the unknown and unforgiving ocean. While there are only 3 vehicles, all of them have a purpose throughout the game. They aren't just stepping stones from one to the next. They also all have upgrades that drive them to be further, unique, and useful in their own way. The sea moth is always the fastest way to get from point A to point B, but it's limited in the depth it can go. It is improved, however, to become self-sufficient with a solar panel to charge it, allowing for higher depth travel amongst biomes to be quick and painless. The prawn suit is a slow-moving and heavy machine that is capable of going to the deepest depths in the game. It is stuck to the seabed outside the ability to jump, but with some upgrades it can swing from a grappling hook and mine valuable large resource chunks with its drill arm. The final vehicle is a Cyclops, a large, unwieldy vessel that is essentially a mobile home for your long-distance travel needs. With some extra work building inside of it, you can turn it into a proper base and leave the stationary ones to become nothing but pit stops along your journey. All these vehicles have a set lane that they're strong in, and with continued upgrades they can be found absolutely dominating in their appropriate space. Though I must say that the Cyclops is probably one of my favorite video game vehicles ever. I just love the idea of a mobile home in a survival game like this. However, I do have one issue with the Cyclops. The power you need to provide for it is not self-sustaining, meaning you need to charge the power cords you power it with an actual base. Now this is a non-issue because the Cyclops is late game enough that you should have a proper base set up anyway. But if I can build a nuclear reactor, and I can build a massive submarine, why not have a nuclear submarine? Even if it is an upgrade I have to build for it. There's one more major note on gameplay I have to bring up. In Subnautica, there are many varieties of fauna which come in many sizes and shapes. The AI of these fauna tend to feel pretty real. For example, the small fish swim away from you as you get close and the big fish swim towards you because you look like a tasty snack. However, if you're in a vehicle, the AI tend to break down and not seem to even try to get out of the way. Now, that may be realistic in some sense, but I find myself needing to ignore the sound of fish hitting my windshield, which probably isn't all that good for them. I also find that the Leviathan AI, which are extremely large fauna, tend to clip their tails through walls often. I find them easily to just plain avoid once I've learned a few tricks that pretty much work on all of them. And these tricks are easy to stumble upon, at least if you play like I do, which is crying in the corner and waiting for the scary thing to go away. Overall, Subnautica hits this perfect spot of interest for me, where I find myself enjoying the survival and exploration so much that I can ignore the scary moments it may hit me with. The beautiful alien world is always so immersive and interesting to me. While I definitely wouldn't be caught scuba diving in real life, I can certainly pretend I have such bravery in this game. Though, in my recent playthrough I found myself short on time and punished because I rushed through some of the exploring. I think anyone who has the time to take a dive into this game and explore should. I do need to warn those who haven't played this game though. Exploration is a major part of the game, and missing some fragments will make your life harder, so make sure you look into all the nooks and crannies. Goddamn drill arm gets me every time. Tee